On today's episode, we take a look at Star Wars and the scene that started it all. What is up, guys? Welcome to What We Watched. I am Matt. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. What we're going to be doing is doing a full breakdown of a scene. Now, I'm hoping to do more of these in the future where we either break down a scene or maybe even a screenplay from a popular or a movie that I particularly enjoy and see what they did right and see what they maybe could have done better. So I don't really have a, title for this segment yet. So if you have a cool idea, please either tweet me, let me know in the comments down below, or somehow just let me know one cool thing that we could call this. This hopefully going to be a reoccurring segment, and so I just need a cool, catchy name for it. And so all my creative friends, if you could help me out, that would be greatly appreciated. Today we are going to be taking a look at Star Wars: A New Hope, or just regular Star Wars. It's an iconic movie that started an entire franchise that is worth billions and billions of dollars and been seen by millions and millions of people. So it's just really interesting to look back at this scene because, one, this was not supposed to be a big hit. It was a small production compared to what they are today. And so just to see how well they executed the movie overall with the limited resources that they had is pretty impressive. So we are going to look at the very beginning of Star Wars: A New Hope, and I'm going to share some thoughts on it. Now, here is that opening statement that is now iconic, that we see in front of, I think, every Star Wars film. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. There's a few things that are really, really important about this part. One is the sound. We just came off of the 20th Century Fox, and the big, huge trumpets that were just so loud and so epic. And the first thing you see in this movie is just silence. Black screen, silence, blue text. And also the text is very important. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's very much fairy tale-esque. You hear that a lot, or a very similar phrasing. Long ago in a kingdom far away, or this whole idea of this is a real thing that was happening, but it was so long ago that the story's been passed on and passed on and passed on, and it's so far away that that's maybe why you haven't heard of it before, but that doesn't mean that's not true. So right away, we are kind of introducing this as a galactic fairy tale from the very first thing that we see. And then boom, right there, we come back in with the orchestra. We come back in with a solid hit of music and the text that literally just comes out of nowhere and is in your face. What they want you to know is right away that this is going to be a ride, that this is going to be something that you want to pay attention to. They're taking you on these highs and lows because right off the bat, they want you to be engaged. They don't want you to be eating your popcorn or checking your phone or doing anything like that, being distracted by the people around you, but they want you to be incredibly quiet at first, so then you pay attention to the text. Then incredibly loud, so you know that we're about to get this started. And as this text rolls up, it takes up the whole screen, giving you the epic scale of what we're going for here. And this gives you a lot of exposition. Exposition, just the general backing of the story, that the groundwork that you need to know the rest of the story. So it's a period of civil war. Rebel spaceships, striking from a hidden base, have won their first victory against the evil galactic empire. In that first paragraph, we've already learned so much. It's so well written. It's a period of civil war. So one, we are in the middle of tension. Right off the bat, we are in the middle of tension. We have rebels, so people who are trying to overthrow or cause up a stir, are striking from a hidden base. So they're in hiding. You think very Revolutionary War in this circumstance, that they are hiding and trying to get strikes when they can, and they've actually just won their first victory. So it's not like they're winning. This is not an even civil war. This is a bunch of people who are hidden throughout the galaxy who are trying to strike the big, bad, evil galactic empire. It seems that they are trying to make this incredibly black and white, that the rebels are small and meek and trying to do what's right versus the big, bad galactic empire. Another thing you'll notice is that everything is over the top in this episode. During the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon. What they want is they want these two sides to be drastically different. They are not looking for a hero they're not looking for a villain who can be identified with at this moment. They want the Empire to seem so overwhelming. They want the Empire to seem so in the wrong that these rebels have no chance. That they have this ultimate weapon called the Death Star. Really right on the nose with the name. The Death Star. An armored space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet. These guys aren't messing around, and they want you to know that right off the bat. This is not a fair fight in any way, shape, or form. Pursued by the Empire's sinister agents, once again, just kind of stressing the point of how intense and how bad that the Empire is. That this is not a differing ideals, but this is a bad, evil Empire versus a group of good people who are trying to stop that evil. Princess Leia races home aboard her starship, custodian of the stolen plans that can save her people and restore freedom to the galaxy. So once again, we have the overall theme of oppressor and the people who are being oppressed. They want it to be very clear that they are outnumbered, outgunned, and they are on the run. Now this is a great shot right here. One of the reasons that it's so great is, one, you have the slow pan down. So all that text that was just happening, you could see the stars in the background, but what it's saying is that you are already in this story. That they've introduced you to a few of the characters, they've introduced you to the situation, but you are already right in the middle of what's happening. That even though it seemed just kind of like a backdrop, that if you were just to look, if you were just to glance below that text, you are already in space where this is happening. Another interesting thing that they do is that you can obviously tell from a glance that this is space. There are stars, there's planets, but it also looks pretty familiar. You can almost kind of see it looks like moons and planets and things that we're familiar with. So you're not seeing big, huge cities. You're not seeing anything that's really drastic than what you might have already seen in other space movies. But it's just an overall shot of this is our situation. And then out of that moment of peace, boom, we have conflict immediately. We're just over 2 minutes into this film, and we are jumping right into the conflict. And there's a few things that you notice. Is one, you see that the ship is flying, and they are already being shot at. They're obviously being pursued, and they are trying to run. This is not a ship that is flying at another ship and they're shooting at each other, but this is something that is running away and being shot at. And then we have one of the most iconic scenes in movie history. We see a Star Destroyer for the very first time. And just the way that this camera is positioned and the way that George Lucas decided to make this shot is genius, because a few things. One, everything is about scaling. You have the rebel ship that is running, obviously, and so much smaller. And even though you could easily have this as a side-by-side, or you could easily have this where you have both of them in the frame from the side, and you would get the idea that the Star Destroyer is much larger than the Rebel ship. What this does is by having this ship come in from the upper right hand corner and come down, it makes this imposing action. It makes this imposing scene where you automatically know who's in authority. You automatically know who's in charge, even in contrast to everything around it. Even in comparison to the planets and the moons and the other ships and the stars in the distance, the thing that has your attention is this Star Destroyer. And the fact that the longer that we go on it, the bigger it gets. The more of the screen that it takes up. That's one of the great things about this shot and Star Destroyers in general, is it starts off at a point and then just keeps getting wider and wider. Just when you think that you've seen the end of the ship, it just keeps going, and it just keeps getting bigger and engulfing more and more of the screen. And then we switch and we do a 180 and we see it from a different perspective. Now, imagine if we would have started with this shot. It still would have been an impactful shot, but look, the planet is bigger than the Star Destroyer. The Rebel ship is obviously smaller than it, and you can still see that it's on the run, but it's drastically different than what we saw in that first shot. It's not as imposing, it's not as big, it's just a big ship going after a small ship. The odds and the fact that the Rebel ship is obviously outnumbered is not as emphasized with this shot. That is just the first 2 minutes of this film, and we've already learned so much. We've learned that there is a conflict going on, and it's not a fair conflict. That there is obviously good, and there is obviously bad. That the good is hiding and trying its best to overthrow the bad, and that the bad is powerful and wanting to destroy the good. That the good guys are outgunned and outmanned and on the run. And we find this all out within the first 2 minutes of the film. We learned that we need to pay close attention to the words and the text, but also that we are in for one heck of a ride. Star Wars has changed the way that we look at film and has created a phenomenon that we cannot even measure. And it all started with this simple scene that is done so incredibly well. Well, do you like this scene? Is this one of your favorite opening scenes? Let me know in the comments down below. If there's anything else that you thought was really cool about that opening scene that maybe I missed, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. I always truly do appreciate when you do that. Well, that's it for me today. Once again, if you can think of a cool name for this segment where we break down scenes or screenplays or different parts of a film, please let me know. I'm not super creative when it comes to that sort of stuff, so any help would be greatly appreciated. I'm Matt. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys on Monday.